Well, hello everyone, and welcome once again to another inspiring episode of Ignite with Sandy. This wonderful program that I do every week where I bring on experts, women from different walks of life, from different parts of the world, different nationalities, who share their expertise, who share their experience. And in listening to them, we fire up the neurons in your mind. So you say, oh, wow, I didn't know this. This is so important. I need to understand this. I want to know more. I need to see how this will bring about a positive change in my life. So we look at different walks of life. We look at career, we look at relationships. But one of the most important things is our health. And today, we are going to be discussing a very delicate system in our human body. It's called hormones, gender, genetics, and more. And this actually is a very delicate, balanced system, which, if it goes a little bit wrong for many, many reasons, we end up feeling really awful and we don't know. So we go off to a regular doctor who also is not qualified in this manner. And so they cannot really give us the treatment that we want. So that is the reason why I thought it would be very important for us to listen to the expert, the endocrinologist who has mastered endocrinology, because she is going to be able to give us very important pointers. So, as you know, I never introduce my guests. I always ask them to introduce themselves. So I'm going to bring on my lovely guest for today. And, ma'am, could you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi, Sandy. I'm very happy that you share me in this program. And I hope that at the end of this discussion, more people will know about endocrinology. My name is Dr. Hala. I was general medicine, internal medicine. I take my residency in internal medicine. Then I specialized in endocrinology. This is a very challenging type of medicine because there are always vague symptoms, and then we have to interpret these symptoms with the blood test results. I am working now in the United Arab Emirates in RAK Hospital, experience more than 30 years of endocrinology.
Wow, that's a long, long time. And I think you must be having so much knowledge that you can share with us. But you are the specialist and we don't know much about it. So I hope you're going to give us some simple answers. So, my first question to you, Dr. Hala, is can you give us a brief description um, about the endocrine system? What role does it play in our physical and our mental well-being?
Okay, so the endocrinology is like glands, a network that secretes hormones like chemical messengers. It is not passing in ducts, but it is poured in the blood. So when it is poured in the blood, it goes to every part of the body. It affects you in your growth, in your reproduction, in your fertility, in your metabolism, in your mood. So where are these glands found? We have the pituitary gland, which is like a pea, and it's found in the brain. And this is the master of all the glands. It secretes many hormones which regulate the other glands. We have the thyroid, which is found in the neck, secretes thyroxine. And we have the parathyroid glands, which regulate your calcium. We have the adrenal glands. We have two supraadrenal glands found on the kidneys. They secrete the steroids. They secrete the epinephrine, adrenaline. Also, we have the pancreas. The pancreas secretes the insulin, the glucagon. We have the ovaries, which secrete the estrogen. We have the testicles, which secrete the testosterones for males. So as you see, we have many thyroid, parathyroid, pancreas, adrenals, parathyroid, pituitary. All these are called endocrine glands. They differ from the other glands like the exocrine glands. The sweat glands have a duct, which secretes the duct, but here no duct. It's like chemical messengers going to all your body, affecting everything in your body. Not only the glands, now even the adipose tissue is considered as an adrenal gland, secreting the leptin and many other hormones. This is a very brief description.
I know, and I'm sure you can talk about each of these glands for many, many days, and even then you will not finish sharing the information with us. So, the first time I had an experience with an endocrinologist is that um, there's a young lady in my family who was showing a lot of different symptoms of not being able to sleep, putting on weight, this, that, and the other. And of course, the periods also were not coming on time, a lot of pain, whatever. So I would take her all the time to the gynecologist. And the gynecologist would give this or that, but it was not helping at all. Then I did a bit of research and I said, there's this doctor of who's endocrinologist. Maybe I should go there. So I went with this little lady to see him, and he was shocked. He said, "How did you come to see me?" I said, "What do you mean? Aren't you the endocrinologist?" And he said, "Yes." So I said, "Then I've come to see you." He says, "But you're, I'm always getting patients as referrals, but you have come yourself." So I said, "Yes." Then I realized, as you very rightly said, these are very delicate systems, and we really don't know because they are not showing up as something which is the true cause. This
Yeah,
is the big problem. So,
yeah,
my next question to you, Dr. Hala, is what are the endocrine related diseases that we find in the UAE,
yeah,
especially amongst the females?
yeah. Mostly, of course, diabetes mellitus is quite common in males and females. And the second thing, the thyroid disorders, very, very common in ladies, whether it is lazy or active. We have also a very common, which is the polycystic ovary syndrome, which is suffering from gain weight, irregular cycles, and acne or increase the hair in her body. Obesity is also a very prevalent condition here. So these are the most common things which we can see. After that comes the galactorrhea with the prolactinomas, the high prolactin. These are the most common things which we see.
Okay, I see. So, of all of these things that you mentioned in women, uh, does her diet have anything to do with it? Like what we're eating, when we're eating, how much we are eating. Is that an important part?
Yeah, it is very important, especially in the polycystic ovary and the diabetes. Mainly the food and losing weight. Losing weight is an essential part. Having a healthy life, eating more vegetables, more fibers, avoiding much sugars, much carbs, exercising. These are the most common things. In the polycystic ovaries, if your weight is controlled, usually everything is improved a lot.
Okay, so when you're giving a general thing about vegetables and having more roughage in your diet and exercising, etc., are there some vegetables, for example, if you have a thyroid problem, are
Yeah,
there some vegetables that you should avoid and some vegetables that you can eat? Because if you're saying all vegetables, I can eat something, but I have heard that for thyroid, you have to avoid some foods and vegetables.
especially you have to avoid in the thyroid if you have antibodies and autoimmune disease of the thyroid, then you have to avoid like broccoli, like cabbage, like cauliflower, like kale. All these should be avoided. Don't take excess iodine or iodide salts because it may aggravate the condition, especially in hypothyroidism and thyrotoxicosis causing by an autoimmune disease. This is true.
Okay, because when people say healthy diet and we're looking at all these things that we find on the internet, kale is very important, broccoli is very important, and you think, oh wow, if I eat all of this, I'm going to lose weight, I'll get healthy, etc. But of course, as you've said, it's very important to avoid certain foods. So, as a guideline, what would you suggest to ladies who, let's say, have PCO or a thyroid? Should they consult with a dietitian, nutritionist, or should they follow what the endocrinologist is saying?
See, in the polycystic ovary, this is a multidisciplinary team. We need the gynecology with us. We need the nutritionist. We need even the psychiatry because they have much depression. Okay, and with the endocrinology, we are all helping these ladies to correct what they have. The polycystic ovary depends also what the ladies want. If she wants fertility or she wants to treat the acne and the hirsutism, then the dermatology will be with us. Or she has that irregular cycle, she wants to correct it. Also, they are more prone to diabetes, to high cholesterol. So we have to correct all these with each other to help them to be much more healthier.
All right. So when we're coming to talking about, having a healthy diet and obviously doing some kind of exercise or whatever, how long does this last? And do women who are having these issues, do they have to take certain different kinds of supplements, or do they have to take some kind of medication to keep this in control?
See, for the style life modification, this would be for life. This is a mode of life. She has to exercise, to eat healthy food. This is for life. Yes, sometimes we give some medications which help to control the condition. And we follow up. As long as she is losing weight, maybe we change the medicine. Maybe if she wants a baby or she wants something, if her acne is improving because she lost weight and she takes some medication, then we stop. So it depends on each case. Not every case is the same. I have some patients who only lose weight, everything improved a lot.
All right. So when we are looking at all of this, and of course, when you have acne and you don't look nice and you feel tired and whatever else, obviously you start feeling depressed. And then that depression can lead to either overeating or starving, or in some cases, not being able to sleep or sleeping too much,
Right?
abnormal sleeping patterns. So, what advice would you give to women? Because I know that a lot of times the women are going through some kind of an emotional issue. It could be related to the family, it could be related to the job, it could be related to the spouse. And because of the stress level that she is going through, everything seems to be going out of the normal ranges. So the underlying issue would be stress. So you think that stress actually plays an important role in causing a problem in the balance of the hormones?
Yes, of course, because when you have much stress, your body responds by increasing your cortisol in the body. And this cortisol will increase the inflammation in your body. They will increase your weight. Maybe they induce high blood sugar. I tell them, try to do yoga exercises, try to do meditation, try to relax, because whenever you are on stress, whenever you don't sleep well, all these stress hormones will be raised, and this will aggravate the condition. You are absolutely right.
So does this apply to men as well?
Of course, we are all humans.
That is very true. But I seem to, I mean, I feel like this, maybe now in the younger generation, I don't know. But in the older generations, there was always a lot of responsibility put on the man
Yeah.
for being the breadwinner, providing the home, providing the security, the future of the children, the future of the family, not only of his wife and children but also of his parents, because of the cultural system in which we grow up. So I feel that there is a lot of stress which is put on the man, and lot of expectations. And unlike women, sometimes men don't cry, or they don't vent their feelings in a way, because again we have been told that it's not manly. What are you doing, behaving like a girl, crying, or behaving like a woman, getting emotional? So they bottle up all of this. And is that one of the reasons why we find more um, chronic cases of hypertension, etc., in men than in women?
Also, the hypertension in men, there are also weight gain, much weight gain in men. because of this stress. So when I ask them to try to lose weight, sorry, so they lose weight, and blood pressure also improved a lot. So style life modification is for ladies and for men. Both of them have to reduce the stress, to reduce their weight, to improve their condition.
My next question is very simple. The incidence of diabetes in the UAE is very high. And from what I now understand, that if one of your parents has got diabetes, then the likelihood of the child getting the diabetes is much higher. So, number one, is this true?
Yes, there is a hereditary condition, especially in type 2 diabetes. Because of that, we always, if there is a patient who is coming and obese and have a family history of diabetes, we usually screen for diabetes for him. And usually ask patients above 35, even they are not overweight, to screen for diabetes. Also, we ask the patients who are obese, even if they don't have a family history, to screen for diabetes. But yes, diabetes have hereditary, especially type 2.
I see. So, the chances of you getting diabetes because one of your parents had diabetes is much higher. So, does this apply to if my mom had diabetes, would I get the diabetes? So, is there any difference between male and female parent and male and female child of getting the diabetes?
It depends. Yes, you have a percentage that you may have it, but it is not always. If you control your weight, you are always taking care of your weight and screening yourself. Maybe you become only pre-diabetic, and you will not develop diabetes because you are taking care of yourself. But yes, there is an incidence, of course, for males and females, for parents, both parents, especially if the mother have gestational diabetes and she in her pregnancy, then her children also have a higher incidence of being diabetic. Because of that, we always tell the patient who is having gestational diabetes to take care of the food of her children, to avoid them to become obese, because they have an incidence more to become diabetics.
Okay, doctor. My next question is something which what you call lifestyle, because now everybody thinks that popping a pill is okay. And so, what if I have A, B, C, D? I'll just take A, B, C, D pills, and I'll still lead my life the way I want. I'll still eat all the things I'm not supposed to eat, because you know what? At night, I'm going to just take a pill and everything's going to be okay. A lot of people behave like that. And so, what I want you to share with me is if you're taking diabetes as an example, what happens to the internal organs of a diabetic person versus another person who does not have diabetes, and they're both the same age. So, as they grow older, what is the difference in the degeneration or the aging of the organs of a diabetic person and a non-diabetic person?
When a patient come to me with diabetes, okay, and it is not very high sugar, he have no symptoms and he found it by the lab. So the first question I would ask him, why you come to me to treat the diabetes? Okay, you have no symptoms, right? Yes. Because of that, you don't take any medicine, right? Yes, I have no symptoms. Why I would take? So I tell him, okay, after 20 years, you will have more problems. We are not treating the number of sugar, but we are avoiding the complications of this bad disease. Every organ will be affected. The highest percentage of people doing dialysis is with diabetic chronic kidney disease. The eyes, the blindness, very high percentage of blindness due to retinal disease of the diabetes. We have many patients with heart attacks or with hemiplegia because they were ignoring their sugar. We have many cases of peripheral neuropathy, the nerves are affected and they don't feel their legs, and some amputation and gangrene happens in their legs. We take the medicine to avoid these complications, long-term complications, which we will not be able to revert them if they happen. This is the idea of being treated diabetes.
I see. So you're saying that one needs to be more careful, more vigilant, and when they come to visit somebody like yourself, they should not ignore the advice that you're giving. Because sometimes what people feel is that, oh, the doctor just said this, but they never gave me any medication. So obviously, it's not a serious problem. So, how do you make them understand that right now, if they follow your advice, they'll actually improve? But when they don't follow it and they come back and you put them on the medication, by that time, it's already too late.
Yeah, I always try for the people who are very early in diabetes to convince them by this. Yeah. If I have a young patient who is 30 years and have diabetes, this is for me very important to try to convince him to follow with me every 3 months and to come and to see his weight and to see his sugar and to see his lipids, because the long-term complication would be severe. But if I have a patient who is above 75 with high sugar, I'm not so stressful to get him very low sugar because it's already having the complications now. So, and I try to avoid the low blood sugar in the old people. So the most important thing, the early signs of the diabetes, early sugar, to convince them by diet, by exercising, by weighing them every 3 months, encouraging them to lose the weight, giving them the least, and say what are the side effects of this medicine, what you will feel. If any side effects, please come back. We can discuss it with each other, and so on.
Okay, so now I want to move a little towards the thyroid because that is also quite an issue with young people and older people, etc. So, what are the symptoms of a thyroid malfunction?
Okay. See the symptoms of the lazy thyroid, which is called hypothyroid, that there is lack of concentration, fatigue, gaining weight, the cycles is irregular. But all these manifestations don't come until it is very, very late. The TSH is very high and the thyroxine is very low. But now, by the new screening and the people are doing checkup and so on, we discover it when it is only subclinically. I mean, the TSH is slightly raised, and at that time we try to see what is the problem so that it is treated early with very small doses at first, and then we see the response. So it is not like 20 years ago when the patient coming to us sleepy on herself and her skin is dry and the skin is falling and the hair is falling. And it's not the picture like that now because of the new techniques in checking up. Every time they go to the doctor doing checkup, they do even TSH slightly raised, she try to investigate what is the problem. So it is completely different than before. For the thyroid toxicosis or the hyperactivity of the thyroid gland, it differs because the patient comes to us complaining of losing weight too much, irregular cycles, palpitations, so it is very evident. Her eyes bulging out, so at that time there are really symptoms. But for the hypothyroid, usually they come, they don't know because they discover it very early. But usually the symptoms are not so severe as before we see it in 20 years ago.
Okay, so what Dr. Hala is saying is very simple. We need to be a little more vigilant. Now, our medical checkup is not that expensive, and there are lots of places where you can go and get a medical checkup done at a very reasonable price. If you have medical insurance, you have national health insurance, these are all ways in which you can bring down the cost of a medical checkup. So, it's very simple. You have to weigh the pros and cons. Do I go out and buy a handbag? Do I go out for dinner? Do I spend money on this or that? Or do I actually spend money on something that is very important for me, for myself? Because if you're not in good health, you're not going to be able to enjoy anything else. So, what I wanted to find out, when is the good time, Dr. Hala, for us, male and female, to actually start coming in for an annual medical checkup?
Yeah, for the thyroid especially, if there is a family history of thyroid disorders, then the lady has to check on puberty, if she wants to become fertile, if she become pregnant. The family history is very important in this issue. So the family history in thyroid disorders play a great role, especially in the hypothyroid diseases. So usually they don't know. They become pregnant and they don't tell us that they have a family history of thyroid, and we discover it especially in pregnancy. So any lady who has a family history before becoming pregnant, I advise her to do the thyroid test for her.
So, the other question I wanted to ask you, Dr. Hala, supposing the parents didn't have thyroid problem, is it possible for the offspring, male or female, to actually develop a thyroid problem without having any hereditary reason for having thyroid? Can it just happen?
Yes, it can. It can happen. And usually, I mean, I have some patients who I ask them if they have any family history. They said no. And now we do something called the autoimmune antibodies. So I told her mostly you will have someone in your family because you have high thyroid antibodies. And later on, when they do the test in their countries for the family, they discover that they have, yes, normal thyroid, but they have really high thyroid antibodies. So it is mostly in families, but it can happen, of course, especially that the hypothyroidism, there are two types. Yes, we have the autoimmune, but there is another type of hypothyroidism due to low iodine. So maybe the low iodine causes this hypothyroid.
Okay, now we come to the female part, and everybody wants to talk about it, and sometimes they make it a huge thing called menopause. Okay, it's a very natural part of the aging process, but somehow menopause has been made out to be this really bad thing, and you're going to get this, and you'll feel this, and you'll do this, and you'll do that, and women are sort of feeling very disempowered when they are going through this natural process. So, what is your advice to women who are, I think there's perimenopausal, postmenopausal, there's many different terms. But generally speaking, when do women enter this stage of, menopause?
Yeah, this is a normal process. I always tell them it is a normal process. What happens at about 45, above 45, depends. The lady starts to have some irregular cycles. She have some symptoms like some hot flushes, like some emotional upset, but she can control it by exercising, by food, by ignoring this. Unless it is very severe, then at that time she may take some medicines to help her. But usually if she doesn't think of it too much and she is occupying other activities and playing, exercise, she will not suffer.
Yeah. So,
It
when you
really
talk
is all
about
here.
it's all in the head, right? Okay, so uh, when you're saying medicines at this stage, if she's going through this hormonal seesaw, the feeling like crying and depressed or eating too much or whatever, okay, from my personal observation, I think sometimes some ladies are like drama queens, and then they use this particular phase as an excuse to get perhaps more attention, or to not do something that they should be doing, because it's blame it on the hormones. Okay, so when you talked about some kind of medication at this stage, what kind of medication are you recommending?
See, it is depends on the case. Sometimes some antidepressants are given to them, and sometimes hormonal replacement. But if we're giving hormonal replacement, we have to get a proper history if there is any breast cancer history, and then we'll avoid it. If there's deep vein thrombosis history, we cannot give it. So at that time, we can give the hormones and follow up the patient. or that some antidepressants. Also, some foods have high estrogens, and it is called the phytoestrogens. And this, like the soya beans, like the berries, like the plums. So at that time, we recommend increase these foods and see what is going on. Maybe it would much improve. Of course, vitamin D, calcium, all these conditions are very important for this page of age.
Okay, so when we talk about, in some cases, of course, not all, but in some cases, when a lady is prescribed antidepressants to help her with,
Yeah.
that particular phase that she's going through, uh, do you feel that sometimes women become dependent on antidepressants and it then becomes something that they have to or they want to take it all the time and it sort of becomes a bad habit?
Yeah, this is true. Because of that, I try to help them by advising them try to do yoga, try to do some exercises, avoid medicine, take some natural extracts, but any medicine have side effects and have toxicity. You are completely right. But
Okay,
some
so
ladies insist that they take it, and this is the problem.
taking these medicines and they say, Allah, I cannot do without it, I must have it, you don't understand what I'm going through, all of that, a bit of the drama and the emotional blackmail. So
Yeah.
in that case, do you really have to give them something to sort of make them feel a little more relaxed, or sometimes do you just look at a placebo?
Yeah, we are trying, yani, but the ladies now are they googling everything and they know everything. So you have to be very careful when you are prescribing something, telling them their side effects, avoiding them, especially that I am a lady and I pass with this period. And I told them my experience in this period. So some convinced, some not.
Okay, so now we come to this HRT. Okay, now this is a very Western concept, and the moment you go through your menopause, whether through surgery or through the natural way, the gynecologist will always say, "Oh, now you're ready for HRT." Okay, so I'm 72 years old. I've never taken HRT. I'm in very good health. I'm very active. I'm very alert. I sleep very well. My weight is, I am now 59 kilos and my height is 5'3". Okay. So I'm living proof that HRT is not essential. But this is another thing that is there's so much auto suggestion and the power of suggestion that you have to take HRT. Oh, now it's time to take HRT. So, what is your expert opinion about HRT and who should take it and who shouldn't? Number one. And number two, can I take it and then slowly wean off and leave it?
No. The hormone replacement therapy, yes, it is indicated for there are some ladies which have premature ovarian failure. Yani I have one lady at 25 years. She has the ovarian failed. She has no estrogen now. So at that time, the hormone replacement therapy is needed for her. She has an autoimmune disease which affected her thyroid, her ovaries, and she has no more estrogen. At that time, she entered the menopause very early. This is called the premature ovarian failure. At that time, yes, the hormone replacement therapy is needed for her and for her bones and everything. But a lady with a normal menopause, I don't suggest that she take the hormonal replacement therapy unless she has a severe symptoms which she cannot tolerate. This is my view. And yes, you have to stop it after, take it up to 5 years, and then you can stop, no problem.
Okay, that's a good thing to know that you don't have to take it all year round. Okay, now the other thing, Doc, that I hear a lot is that when women sees their menstruation, then they're getting a heart attack or a stroke becomes just as high as that of a man. Is that correct?
I cannot understand. Again, please.
Okay, so I'll just repeat that. When a
Yeah.
woman goes through menopause, there's a lot of talk about this in medical circles and whatever else, that her chances of getting a stroke or a heart attack become the same as for a man in that age group. Is that true?
Yes, estrogen is a protection, of course. Because of that, the heart attacks in ladies come later than the men because of the estrogen. It has a protective effect. And this is true, yes.
Okay, so now since we're coming to the end of our very informative interview with you, Dr. Hala, I want to know if you can give us some pointers, general pointers, of course, for diet, sleep, and exercise. What are these are the three things. How important are they? And we are not talking about going to the gym every single day, or running 20 kilometers and not eating and not enjoying life. We want to enjoy life, and we want to be medicine free. So what
Yeah.
is your advice? What should we be doing?
Okay. I always ask the patients to avoid sugars. Don't put sugar on the tea. Don't put sugar. Sugar is very bad. And only 2 weeks without sugar, your taste buds in the tongue will adapt to this sensation. I don't like artificial sweeteners. Okay. I don't like them to drink. They always said, I am very healthy. I drink juices. No, no juices, even without sugar. Take the apple as it is. No orange juice, no apple juice. Take the fruits as it is with their fibers. Drink plenty of water. Avoid excessive coffee or tea. Sleep at least 8 hours. Exercise, walk. I don't want you to go to the gym. Only walking 30 minutes, 5 days a week is good for you. Don't eat much carbs. Increase your proteins. Don't eat processed food. All these are general, but it really improve your health. Increase your vegetables. Make a big salad every day. Less rice, less bread, no bakeries, no much flour in your food, no deep frying. Bring everything, make it steamed or use the active fry to avoid much oils. Use olive oil. This is if you eat fruits, okay, eat fruits. But even fruits, you have to understand that it have high sugar. So at least 3 servings per day is enough. Some people say, I only eat fruits, and I gain weight. Yes, fruits, you will gain weight because it's also sugar. It's natural sugar, yes, but also you have to limit the amount of taking it. This is my advice to all my patients.
And it's very good and very common sense and very doable. It's not difficult at all, because there are so many varieties of fruits, so many varieties of vegetables. But I think because of the marketing and the social media showing us all these yummy things that we have to eat, and then giving us these easy solutions. Oh, do this and then just do this, or avoid this and do this, and all these diet foods. I think they're the worst things. Those diet bars and energy bars. When you look at the back of the ingredients, you won't understand anything, because they're all chemicals. 100% chemicals that you are willingly and enjoyingly putting into your system. So it's very bad, and I'm happy that you made that distinction about less sugar, less carbs, and less juice. That's a good one, because I thought I was being very good with having orange juice in the morning. I'm going to change that. Okay, so we're talking about diet, we're talking about lifestyle, and we're talking about sleep. How important is sleep?
Yeah, you know that the hormones have a rhythmic secretions. The cortisol
Okay.
comes early in the morning up and giving you the strength. So if the biological clock is disturbed, your hormones will be disrupted also. So if you are sleeping 8 hours, waking up early in the morning, your hormones will be stabilized and not disrupted. This is a very important way. You have to understand that the hormones also, they have high hormones and then they come down. So even if we ask for some hormones, we tell the patient, please come early in the morning to do it. And she always said, well, I was sleeping, I wake up at 11. And because of that, hormones are not good.
I agree with you 100%. And the other thing that I wanted to ask you, doctor, is I went to, it was just a complimentary reading. I went to a naturopath, and so he put all these the things on me. And it was about 4 in the afternoon, and I was sitting quite relaxed. And then he looked at the readings and he said, "You had a bout of anger. You were very angry today." I said, "No, I'm not. I'm quite relaxed." He said, "No, I never said that you were angry just now. You were angry at approximately 8 or 8:30 in the morning." I said, "Yeah." He says, "Because that's showing a spike. But it has remained in your system till now. So when we are expressing our frustration, when we lose our temper, when we do all these things, like we have a short fuse, what the hell is this? Why is this happening? This is that. We are actually doing ourselves harm. Is that correct?"
Yeah, absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Also, there are something called now, it's new thing, which is called endocrine disruptors. What is the endocrine disruptors? Which some small amounts in the environment, if lead, if magnesium, acrylamide, plastics, small amounts coming to your body from the air, from the pollen, from the pesticides, from the cosmetics, they can impair your hormones. So we have to be very careful in using everything and to avoid any excess cosmetics or pesticides in our use, because it may disrupt our endocrine system.
I think what you said is what this is what I was thinking, but of course, you're the expert. So when we hear something coming from you, I think now we take it more seriously, because otherwise we are not conscious. We are living a very unconscious life, going from morning to evening to night, just going through the motion, getting upset, getting stressed, doing this, doing that, reaching for the coffee, now reaching for the chocolate, and we are living our life in this very ignorant way. So I think it's wonderful that you made the time to come and actually tell us in very simple, non-medical terms why we need to look after ourselves, and more important, why we need to come and visit somebody like you,
Thank you.
because as you said very correctly, medical checkups are very important. Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Hala. It was a wonderful session with you, and thank you very much for sharing your expertise with
Thank
us.
you, Sandy. It's a
Thank
pleasure to share your program. Thank you very much.
you. Thank you. So there you have it from the expert. So many things that we are doing wrong, so many things that we are doing in an unconscious manner because it's just the way it was done. So, what I would like to add to all that Dr. Hala has said, and I would recommend that you watch this episode again and again so that you can remember all the information that she shared. It's very important for us to be consciously aware of what we are eating, to be consciously aware of not stressing ourselves out for no reason, and also consciously aware of having good sleep, not sleeping in the morning or sleeping late or trying to make up with a nap in the afternoon. No. What she said is very important, because our body works on a rhythm and the hormones are secreted at certain times. And when we knowingly or unknowingly disrupt that, then we are asking for trouble. So, a lot of the stuff that we do is very much self inflicted. So, for all those people who love to binge watch Netflix and other online programs and shows and can't stop watching till it's 3 and 4 in the morning, and then struggle to get up and have a lot of black coffee with sugar to get nice and bright and freshen up. Don't do that to yourself. Love yourself, treat yourself with respect, and you are going to enjoy a much better life. So, on that happy note, remember what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to subscribe to our Celestial channel. You're supposed to watch this video. You're supposed to share it with your friends. Spread this information because it's so important. And also, we would love you to like our videos and to comment. And on that very happy note, thank you so much for watching. God bless. Until next time. Bye for now.